we can now put the crowd approach to generate multiple perspectives and heuristics within a broader innovation framework. Within innovation studies, there's been a consensus among scholars and practitioners that what matters for innovation are increased amount of ideas and the variety of ideas. And of course, the crowd will give us both of those. And so the crowd can help us generate those ideas. But innovation also requires selection. Not only do you want lots of ideas and lots of different ideas, you want to actually be able to select amongst those. And the one way to envision an innovation process in a company is to think about it as a funnel. The front end of the funnel has lots of ideas flowing in that we can use the crowd to generate. And then there are various selection gates that help us pick amongst the most promising ideas and then push them through the development process till they hit the consumers and our customers. So generation and selection are actually two very important activities that drive the innovation process forward. And we can take this idea of generation and selection and then apply them within a framework of a 2x2. The 2x2 has two dimensions. On the bottom axis, we have idea generation knowledge distribution. Here, what we mean by this are the perspective heuristic pairs that we need to solve our problem. Is it narrowly distributed? Are they actually sitting within one person, one team, or one company? Or are they broadly distributed in the world? The second axis, the vertical axis in the 2x2, is the selection knowledge. Where do the perspectives and heuristics on what to select amongst all the ideas that are being generated? Is that concentrated in one person, one team, one genius inside of a company, or is it broadly distributed in the economy, in the marketplace, etc.? And the 2x2 then helps us now start thinking about how to position the use of crowds to solve a variety of innovation problems that we might be faced with. The first quadrant in our 2x2 is the bottom left one. Here, the perspective is that very few people, individuals or teams or companies, have the idea generation knowledge. They can, within themselves, be really good at creating the perspectives and heuristics to come up with solutions, and similarly can in fact select amongst them within the company itself. And this quadrant at the bottom left defines internal R&D. When we have internal R&D at companies like IBM or Google or Facebook, their belief is that within these companies are enough teams who can generate their own perspectives and heuristics and can select amongst them that they don't need to go to the outside world for help. But as we've seen, the outside world can be a great source of perspectives and heuristics for both selection knowledge and generation knowledge, of course. Now, the use of contests is a way to think about a world in which we can rely on people from around the globe to help us in generating new perspectives and heuristics to come up with solutions. So lots of people come through and have broad knowledge distribution for a problem to come up with potential solutions. And then a few people inside the company know how to select amongst them. And that puts us in the bottom right quadrant. The top left quadrant is one where we anticipate that a few people can come up with the great ideas, but lots of people can help select them and, in fact, can help improve them. This model of a consortium has been widely used in the development of the technologies of the internet. The worldwide consortium was set up as a way where a few people would have great ideas of protocols, and then the whole world would get engaged in improving on those protocols and help select those protocols and standardize those protocols over time. Finally, the top right part of the quadrant of the 2x2 gives us a quadrant where we can be a fully crowd-enabled model. Here, the crowd helps us generate all the ideas and also helps us select amongst those ideas. A clear example of this is the Linux and open source movements, where lots of people in the world collaborate together to build on each other's knowledge and share those ideas and then select the best software being produced. But even in commercial enterprises, we now see the use of full-on crowds. My favorite company in this is Threadless, where Threadless enables the world to submit ideas for the graphics you want on the t-shirts. So many different perspectives and heuristics are being generated for the graphics, and then their whole community helps vote on them and select them and come up with the great answers that they then print for their customers. And so this is a great example of a company that makes physical products this way, but also the app stores that we now see proliferate in the smartphone marketplace. The app store is really a view that says the perspectives and heuristics needed to generate great apps is widely distributed in the world. Anybody can have a great idea of the app. And then also, the market determines what wins and what gets selected, not one person inside of a company deciding what the best answer is. So this framework helps us as entrepreneurs, as commercializers, as innovators, to be open-minded about the use of the crowd to generate for us perspectives and heuristics, both for coming up with new ideas, but also in selecting those ideas to bring to marketplace.